Why are you working on the car like this?
I'm trying to see what's going on in here. I did find down here some very shoddy audio work.
Are those grounds drilled into aluminum?
Those are roofing screws.
Jeez. So, I feel like I might have got the better end of this deal a little bit on the trade, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking my retirement might have to hold off a few months. This is gonna take a lot of
poor you. Welcome to Hoopy's Garage, the dumbest automotive channel in all of YouTube, and I am really enjoying myself right now playing Midnight 3 Dub Edition in my Dub Edition 2005 Cadillac Escalade. I'm driving an Eclipse right now trying to unlock the Escalade in the game that looks very similar to this. But there's more to do on this Escalade. We're gonna take it up to the Car Wizards today for a few finishing touches, and also another car in the garage, my Frank Sinatra Imperial is just dumping oil, so unfortunately more to fix there. And my Dodge Dakota, Tyler Potter's coming around, and we're going to put the Dakota back together, the 4.7 V8s, in a million billion pieces, so we'll still be wrenching in the garage as well. I just blew up, crashed into a gas station. Yes, Wizard got both PlayStation units working. Different games are in each, and new controllers. It all works great. I guess these units are pretty sought after because PS2 Slims fit inside, and the only one I can see for sale is $1,000 on eBay, and there's two of them in this thing. And yes, this is the car that you have a chance to win in the sweepstakes with Fanatham. So it has been cleaned up, fixed up, and as you can see, it is in stunning condition, this 2005 Cadillac Escalade. That I got from a viewer. He took it on trade for a boat, and I couldn't help myself. So I currently have three. I have my EXT with 16,000 miles. I have my other 05 that is in Arizona, and then this extra one. And I was thinking, well, what should I do with this? And you all had suggested that I do sweepstakes with cars before, so this is my first experiment with it. I have no idea if I'm going to recoup my money or not, but at least somebody's going to get a really, really cool and now really cleaned up 2005 Cadillac Escalade. The 22 Giovannas have cleaned up very, very nicely. They'll come with new tires also if you want just the stock wheels, which you shouldn't. You should rock these, the Dub Edition Escalade. We'll swap those out. The headlights, nice and polished. The paint came out really well. A little touch up here and there went a long way. Still a little wear on the leather, but it all cleaned up very, very nicely. And under the hood, this one is a 6-liter all-wheel drive, 345 horsepower, 92,000 miles on it. And it is very, very tidy under here, the 345 horsepower V8. So someone is going to be a very happy next owner on this Escalade, and all they have to do to enter and win is buy something like a certified Hoopty keychain. So if you have a certified Hoopty and you want to wear it with pride, well, I have the perfect keychain for you to buy, and it enters you for a chance to win this Dub Edition Escalade, which ends today. So this is the very, very last day for you to enter into this sweepstakes. So support the channel and treat yourself to a Hoopty keychain, and really this is your last chance to enter for a chance to win this incredible relic from 2005. Endless gaming potentials in here. But there are still a few small items to get taken care of at the Car Wizards. In addition, we're going to drive this up to the Car Wizard, my 1981 Frank Sinatra Imperial that I do really, really like. It has a 318 under the hood that the Wizard sort of backdated with an old carburetor from the 60s to make it run properly. And yeah, that's all running good. One viewer who loves these things was very, very angry at me and called me the dumbest person on the planet for not making the fuel injection work, which the car didn't come with fuel injection. I wasn't going to find it and put it all back on. But anyway, underneath, it's leaking a lot. A lot. So I'd like to see what that is. So Jake's going to follow me up in this while I drive the Dub Edition Escalade. And once the Car Wizard gives me the bad news there, honestly, I think he's in kind of a mood because I finally might have got one over on him with this Audi R8 that I bought in Arizona that is way, way worse than I thought, than he thought. And he traded it in exchange for $50,000 in mechanical work at his shop. And I think I definitely won that deal. But when we get back, Tyler Potter and I will put this Dakota back together. The 4.7 overheated. Somebody put in mechanic in a can, so it needs to go back in. The new heads have arrived, and well, it's a lot of parts. I'm not sure me helping is going to actually help, but I'm going to help. This thing drives so nice. All right. Wheel. That's a nice roller. Wizard? Oh, he's working on the R8. Wizard!
Holy, you scared the hell out of me.
Careful.
Come up on me like that.
Why are you working on the car like this?
I'm trying to see what's going on in here. I did find down here some very shoddy audio work.
Are those grounds drilled into aluminum?
Those are roofing screws.
Jeez. So, I feel like I might have got the better end of this deal a little bit on the trade, huh?
Yeah, I'm thinking my retirement might have to hold off a few months. This is going to take a lot of
poor
money.
you.
Poor me.
For the hundreds of thousands of dollars you got over the years, I finally got you. I guess,
I guess so.
You proposed it. This was your idea. I had no idea this was happening. So now you own an R8, which is, yeah, still very torn up. So what are you doing? You got the front drive axle out. All these pipes are dead.
Yeah, every one of these, they just see the pink? Mm-hmm. That's all. Every weld was leaking coolant. Every single one.
Yeah, tried to patch that. The interior, well, you got it all ripped out the radio too, huh?
Yeah, I got the Android unit there.
Oh, fancy.
Apple CarPlay and everything.
Very, very nice. Oh, I see you got this all back together. Mm-hmm. And the latch.
Very heavy-duty metal.
That's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's nice that I'm not spending this money either. This is wonderful. And then you got the whole rear end of it exploded, which I guess you wanted mufflers back on, huh?
Yeah, I got this good used. This is a stock muffler. I'm slowly putting it back together. The old one, it sounded good when you got it warmed up and driving, but cold start was, ugh.
Well, I have 4 vehicles now that have come back right after you did some work to them.
4?
4. Counting these 2. So Frank Sinatra Imperial.
Mm-hmm.
It's all your fault. You worked on it, and now it's dumping some red fluid, I imagine power steering or something like that, because you were close to the power steering working on it, weren't you?
I maybe bumped it with my elbow. It could be my fault, yeah.
It's more like this thing's now being driven again, and it's very angry. So the Escalade I sort of took away from you before you could finish.
Yes.
So climate control stuff, I think there's one module to do, and then this thing back here that, like for the rear audio, was dead, right?
Yeah, it's audio and HVAC all in that one. I got a good used one ready to go in.
Okay, well, I've been playing Midnight Club Dub Edition in there. That's all working fantastic. Now, this came back. I did a whole mess of work, $7,500, because I told you to fix everything, which was a complete idiot. And the fuel gauge always read full. It was working before, but you replaced the fuel pump, which had the gauge in it, and it's broken, so it's your fault, right?
Partially. It is a defect on the part. We didn't cause it, but it is something that falls back on us.
So it's not the Wizard's fault. It's the Chinesium in the part that you installed, which you're running into more and more these days, right?
Yeah, I'll show you. It's back here.
Oh, so it was a GM genuine part.
Yeah, OEM GM General Motors. And this is the fuel sender here, and we put an ohm meter on it, and no matter where we moved it, it just reads bad.
Bummer.
It doesn't change at all. So I just ordered just this piece, and I'll reuse the pump. The pump was good. It worked fine. It solved your issue of having to turn the key on and off to prime it.
Right. It fixed that, and then there's the evaporative emissions codes and all that stuff. It's just no fuel gauge.
Yeah.
Which, a bad part from GM right out of the box.
Yeah. Look at GM. Look at the writing.
Yeah, that definitely says General Motors.
Yeah, in some language.
Okay. Well, and that's a Lamborghini Murcielago transmission in the back. I forgot that you threw it back there. So this one came back. Not the Wizard's fault.
No.
Not the Wizard's fault. Not the Wizard's fault. How about, now this is the one that everybody thought was the Wizard's fault, because I spent, what was that bill in the 599? It was
$7 or $8 grand.
$7 or $8 grand to do the valve cover gaskets, the cam variators, go through and do a service, finally get it back, finally sorted, and I have the check engine light and its system 2 lean codes.
Yes. Well, we went through and dove in, and Danielson did a lot of checking and finally found out that both airflow sensors were reading low.
Airflow sensors are reading low, so where are they?
There's one here and one over there.
Okay.
We tried cleaning them, and that didn't solve it. It's the same problem existed, so I went ahead and ordered new ones. Those are OEM Ferrari parts, and after installing them, the code went away. It's totally happy now.
And do those match up to some generic Italian car, like a Fiat or something?
I think you can get them for a Maserati. The Maserati F136, I think that uses the same airflow sensors.
Okay, so they weren't like $3,000 a piece, like the cam variators.
They're like $350, somewhere around in there a piece.
Well, it's still expensive, but not like out of the realm of insanity, because good mass airflows can be expensive on generic cars. GM cars can be $100-150.
Yeah.
So
The crazy thing is those sensors are used on like the 430, the 575, tons of Ferraris.
okay, and it's a common issue.
I don't know if it's common for them to fail, but these ones definitely did.
Okay, so what's my damage there?
Also, we put a new battery in, your old one, which just wasn't holding a charge.
Yeah.
It's around $1,200 complete with labor, the time, and everything.
But since we did that trade, I don't owe you any
don't
money.
owe anything. Yeah.
Yeah, I still have what, $37,000
Like
left?
35.
Nice. Well, I get a little stay of execution, and you're just going to have to.
I'm spending money while you're getting skating by without spending money. Yeah.
Welcome to my world, Wizard. Yeah, it's not fun, is it?
It's not, but
Okay, well, finally, I'll cruise this thing back home. It is perfect season for this 599 to cruise around, and I'll leave Sinatra in the dub edition with you.
okay.
Yeah, no bill there, and well, the Ram, I guess, is another one that was quite a mess. So, has there been any progress on it?
We replaced the mass airflow sensor here. It solved the warning light there. The wheel speed sensor just need the wiring fixed. It's happy. And then we ordered some off-road, they're like straps. They're 2,000-pound straps to keep the axles from extending too far.
Oh, because the springs fell out when we had it up on the lift,
You see them, they're black right there.
Oh, very nice.
And
Yeah.
that way, after about 6 inches of travel, it'll just stop the axle.
Okay, so it's no longer a danger to the road, I suppose, at this point.
Right.
And the lights are off. We thought it'd be a total basket case, but a mass airflow sensor and the ABS wheel sensor gets all the lights off.
Yep, and we'll just get the drive shaft replaced, and I think we're going to try to get the air horns working for you.
Oh, yes. Yes, the big, ridiculous horns. Yep. God. So stupid. And actually, somebody finally sent me the Instagram account for this guy.
Oh, yeah?
And there's videos of all kinds of dumb stuff, including when the burnout happened in the back. It's got...
Oh, right there, yeah.
I mean, this poor truck,
Wow.
somebody's fancy sort of SEMA-built show truck, found its way into a total hoodlum. Anyway.
That's too bad.
But we're bringing it back. I'll get you the drive shaft, and
Okay.
then this thing will be a usable, safe truck for really cheap for what it is.
Yeah.
Unlike the 599, which has just been, it's been a very needy car.
It has been. Every time you turn around, it needs this or needs that. Little things here or there.
Come on, behave. Well, the good news is the shifter, everything is adjusted wonderfully and working great. The Wizard didn't charge me for that. But the bad news is the check engine light has come back on. And I'm not kidding. I didn't even think to film it because I was just so, like, shocked. But I went to fill this thing up with fuel, and the check engine light immediately came on. Called up the car wizard, and he said, well, if the mass airflows weren't the fix and it's still the System 2 lean code, then I'll take that off, I'll refund you and all that. But I went and ran the codes with my little handheld scanner, and it wasn't that. It was evaporative emissions and a big leak. And I'm hoping it was the gas cap that I had on funny, but it also might be history repeating itself, because there was also a misfire code, which with my Bugatti Veyron, I had the exact same codes because of a purge valve letting fuel vapors into the combustion, into the intake, and causing misfires in the engine. So I've reset it all, I've turned it off, but this Ferrari might be wanting another pound of flesh. But I'm gonna bring it home, drive it, enjoy it, and hope it doesn't come back, even though it probably will. And then Tyler Potter is going to come over, and we're going to put that Dakota back together. And I'm gonna do a little wrenching on my 1923 Packard. Whoa! This is that crazy, crazy car! Back home, and Potter is Is that how you brush your teeth?
I was just shining them up for
Oh,
you.
they are very nice teeth. Okay. Well, you're learning from the wizard on his gags. And Wizard actually paid you a very high compliment. He said you had wizard level of mechanic in you, like you were wizard equivalent.
That either meant he complimented me or he really didn't want to do this.
Probably a little bit of both, because when I mentioned that April gave me a Dodge Dakota 4.7 and it was overheating, he suggested before the words even left my mouth that you should probably be the one to dive on the grenade. And that's why you're here. We're using my garage to fix it up. So we discovered in the April's Garage video what had happened, and it had indeed been cooked, and somebody had put in mechanic in a can, all that copper in the cooling system. And there was a very shiny
piston here. Mm-hmm. So we've got some coolant there.
Yes. So rather than go and get the heads machined and fixed, they might be cracked. They're old. There's tons of things that you would have to do. I decided to break down and buy new heads, which I don't know. Did I save you any time by doing that?
Absolutely, if we don't have to do it again in the future, if these actually did have a crack or something bad that we couldn't see.
Right. So here's all the stuff that came out. There was a head gasket. I don't think there was any smoking gun with the gasket, right?
No.
Yeah. But all these bits need to go back on the Dodge, which I will assist in any way that I can. But I also thought I should probably do an inspection and an oil change myself on the 23 Packard, which I just got. So it's outside, it's been cleaned up. But before I take it on the road, I don't know how old the oil is and see maybe why the clutch is sticking. It sticks a lot, unfortunately. So I'm going to take a peek at that and help you. So there'll be a lot of wrenching in Hoovie's garage, and it's it's dirty in here. It's the dirtiest she's ever been. But don't let me interrupt your work with the YouTube stuff. Looks like you're about to put the exhaust manifold back on that one, huh?
We've got this head built, ready to go on. We're going to put that one together and then hopefully throw it all back together.
Here we go. Thanks so much, everybody, for the feedback on my last video with this 1923 Packard. Even though getting views is tough on something like this, the feedback as far as the comments, the like ratio has been amazing. But it's a 1923 Packard 6 that we bought from the estate, and it's original paint. We bought it non-running, but John Ross was able to rebuild, clean up the carburetor. It has a small fuel leak from it, though. We have to get the right gasket for it. But this turns on the fuel to the fuel pump, pretty sight glass there. But this is all original, a Survivor with like 40,000 miles on it, and it does run beautifully now. I mean, it just starts right up. Totally crazy considering it's over 100 years old, and just look how stunning it is on the inside. Okay, I'll hook up the battery, put on the ignition, and here is the issue when I go to start it up. Even though I have the clutch in, I'll put it in gear just to illustrate. I have to unstick the clutch every single time. The starter is a button here on the floor, and every time, see, it rolls. The clutch is still grabbing. Forgot to turn on the ignition, but it starts on the first crank with the ignition on. It's crazy. But anyway, we got this thing driving with not all that much work, but I don't know how old the oil is. I really don't know if there's anything catastrophic as far as leaks or anything like that. It does drip a little bit, but not that bad. But I thought, well, why don't we do an oil change? And once again, there's the clutch sticking a little bit. That's the other thing to look at, is I put in the clutch and the clutch doesn't immediately release. So let's not hit the Bugatti or Potter or anything. Get up on the lift and take a look. So he's going in the garbage?
All the bolts and gaskets, yes, but the heads, they might be saved or salvaged for the next lost soul I try to bring home.
Oh, your hoard. All right. Well, we got the Packard up in the air, and it is, yeah, it's an oily mess, as you'd expect from a 100-year-old Survivor. Interesting. That's the dipstick tube right there, and it's very oily. Okay, so that looks like my drain, which the drain actually looks pretty nice and easy there. But man, just a short amount of time up here, and it's already leaking from, well, I don't need the wizard to tell me, but probably the rear main seal or the oil pan itself. That's a pretty healthy drip, yeah, out of that hole right there. So as far as the clutch and the shifting stuff, it just looks like ancient history. I mean, I'll WD-40, but most likely it's sticking in there, and transmission would need to be pulled to get to the clutch, and then that could be fixed possibly. Not by me, but then I'm guessing this is the fill for the transmission. But look at that, I mean, just massive. Holy smokes. And then the floor's just all wood, and then we have cable brakes on the rear only in 1923, so no front brakes. And then the rear, it's not hydraulic, it's just a steel cable here, which it looks like a brake switch was rigged to it. This has come loose, so it may not be working at the moment. Yeah, plug that back in, and I probably have a brake light again. Interesting. But yeah, going to the back to the old brakes, and you know, actually it doesn't look too bad back here. Small leak from the back diff. Once again, gargantuan. And then this trunk, which unfortunately it's locked and I don't have the key. So that's a big mystery we have there. There's some sort of liner in there, as you can see, and it feels like there's something in there, but that's a mystery for another day. And I thought these were limit straps, but what in the heck is that? Potter? Okay, yeah, I shouldn't be doing this solo, but
this looks like a modern day seatbelt retractor. So we've got this, what was a limit strap thing, all coiled up. I assume that's some sort of shock absorber that would kind of dampen the...
For bouncing, maybe?
Yes.
Like if it got a little too bouncy on the road. And this one, it didn't break. The strap broke rather than the shock itself. But there's some kind of brand on the side of this thing. What does it say?
Oregon Trail certified.
No, it says Balloon Gabriel.
Oh, wow. Stabilizer. Or
Yeah. Shubbers. Balloon Gabriel Shubbers.
Snubbers?
And it has a patent. Okay. Interesting. I wonder if that's aftermarket or factory. Very interesting. Okay. Well, I'm going to put it on the ground and drain the oil. There's no oil filter on these things. It's just a drain and fill. Okay. Doesn't look terrible. Just black as night. But no glitter. Now see, I learned from my mistakes here. Because with the Bugatti, I didn't put the blanket down to catch the bolts when I dropped them. But this one is down to catch the oil when I spill. See, I'm learning, I'm evolving. Going up higher to make it more cinematic. Okay, no, don't do that. Alright, how much was that? So I was trying to figure out why the dipstick wasn't coming up, and that's because it's not a dipstick. It's a little petcock valve thing. Open it up. See, now there's a hole, so when you fill it up, the oil comes out of that. And then when you close it again, that's how you know your oil's full. But this one's obviously leaky. Okay, we'll leave it open until it starts dripping. Now let that finish doing its thing. Very nice. But Potter's already got a head on. He's using his toothbrush to clean up the surface on the other one.
Got to make it nice and clean.
Yeah.
So we'll have a long life.
So this head does not match this block at all.
Huh. But we'll get enough dirty stuff piled back on. It will all kind of blend in.
Okay. Well, yeah, the intake's not all carboned up. She's going to be breathing really nice. That bottom end's not going to know what to do.
That's absolutely right.
You're good. Fall?
Yeah. There we go. Should be on its down. Okay. Should be goodish.
The initial ugga-dugga for the head bolts before the torque wrench.
Just to get, here's my cheat sheet.
Whoa.
Here. We've got our torque sequence and then our factory torque specs to get everything.
It really doesn't seem that tight.
Well, this is only 15 foot-pounds, the first step of our like 4-step process. So yeah, you're slowly torquing the whole head evenly down. Yep.
It's a process. Let's see if this is done with its process. Yep. No more. So then we close it off. And I suppose you could never like have this come off and then start draining any more than full. So it really makes sense, I suppose. Just a little piece of over-engineering. Okay, I'm gonna run the starter for a little bit with ignition off, just to circulate things a little bit. Yeah, there's the needle starting to move. Okay, that's good. Ignition on. And let's see what happens. Whoa. That's crazy. Okay. Interesting, my amp meter's showing discharge instead of charge. It's like it's working backwards. But I do have good oil pressure. Alrighty. What are you doing?
So we've got our new lifters here because it is a 3747 thing that lifters can go bad. So we've got fresh Mellings lifters that I've had soaking in engine oil all day, so they will be all ready to go when we fire this thing up.
On my Hellcat, that was grinded down to nothing along with the cam lobes.
And a lot harder to get to on the Hemi versus this thing.
I'm trying to do a little monkey see, monkey do on one head and the other, but I am not keeping up in the slightest.
I had a little bit of a head start on this side. Yeah.
Okay. Got about that far before he finished his side. And I'm just going to get out of his way. Happy to be the nurse to Dr. Potter. Interesting timing chain marks there.
Yeah, when you forget to bring a paint pen and you take it apart, you find some convenient bread ties to mark your links.
Okay. So you had rotated it to where they were both on top?
Yes, you've got your little V8, marking here on your cam gear, so you know that those need to be pointing straight up on both of them so you can take it apart and be able to go back together nicely.
Now I know what those are because they fail in German cars all the time.
And
so the chain guides.
And these don't normally fail, but they do often break or crack when you're taking them apart. The little bolt will spin the insert, break the guide. Otherwise, the guide would be fine. We don't have excessive wear or anything, but since we've obviously cracked that, we'll have a fresh guide to go in place.
BMW can't make one of those to last 100,000 miles. But Dodge has got that figured out. A lot of things they don't have figured out, but that they got figured out. Whoa. And with the timing cover off.
Yeah, we can see that. Our secondary timing chain. We've got a primary timing chain that goes from our crank up to our balance shaft, and then from our balance shaft to each camshaft.
Yeah, these ready to go back on, but there's the head gasket failure milkshake that the oil and the coolant make. Disgusting. It's pretty gross. So it was getting in the combustion chamber and in the oil. It was very, very failed. And then they dumped the mechanic in a can, and it worked for a little bit just to trade it in at the Honda dealer. And Eurasia Bob found it, and April bought it and surprised me with it. It lasted just long enough, just to get through the auction in a couple of days, maybe 50 miles, and then kaboom. Potter just told me I had the less desirable valve covers.
Yes, we've got the early magnesium valve covers, which often end up eating themselves to pieces, but these are actually in decent shape. They just have the skinny gaskets, but they'll have to be better than what.
So the later plastic ones are better?
They have a thicker, fatter gasket that is on the later ones, which you want the thick, fat ones, I guess.
Next is the timing cover. And I assume Potter doesn't want me to
And I'd normally just throw it on there, but we're going to throw a new front crank seal since this one is obviously very greasy and gooey since we are here already.
And less bits in the back.
Slowly but surely.
Are we doing this one next?
Maybe. Yes, probably.
Okay. So Tyler's done a lot of these, not just for work, but he rescues Jeeps. And I guess this is easier. There's a lot more room for activities in the Dakota.
Absolutely. Huh? The Jeep has this part right here, like all the way over the throttle body, and you can't. So this is, you can actually touch some things in here. So it's kind of nice.
Roomy Dakotas. Not that I ever was able to use it for anything other than driving around since I was 6'2", pizza-faced, 138 pounds. But yeah, I was very spoiled because I had that Mercedes SL, but then Dad wanted a truck to have around, so he got a Dakota and basically gave it to me as a birthday present. It was his, but I drove that as well and kept the SL nice. So, sort of my first truck. Made for a fun video as far as the before and after of 25 years of, well, rapid, horrible aging. Well, would you look at that?
It's a motor again.
Yeah.
It does need some coolant and some oil, but we should be getting real close.
Yes. And an exhaust hooked up.
Oh, that's important. Yeah.
I think that oil's just as dark as what came out of the 23 Packard. Well, we're breaking in the garage, huh?
Yeah, the floor is painted.
Whoa. What is that?
That's pudding. I think chocolate pudding.
Is this gonna work?
It should make some sort of noise. Whether that's good or bad, we won't know until we hit the key. And even still, after 17 years of working on things, I absolutely dread this part of any engine put together, regardless make, model, motor. It's terrifying.
And you had me helping you.
So, if something breaks, it wasn't me. I'm up the key a few times just to get some fuel into our fuel rail.
All right. Prime.
Key on and off so we can...
I don't hear anything. Oh, a little bit. There it is.
Yep. Whenever you're ready.
Okay. Hey, okay, there it got quiet. All right.
We had brand new lifters in there, so they take just a little bit of time to pump up and get some oil pressure in them.
So I should have floored it right from the...
Yes, yes.
How about that?
Yeah.
Nice and quiet.
No bad noises.
Very nice. A thing happened in this garage, a significant thing.
And it's running now.
Yes. Wow. Okay. Well, I guess we make sure the coolant's burping and happy, and then we take it for a spin?
Yep.
Whoa. All right, the maiden voyage with the new cast heads, and you have failed, Potter. You have... There's a light.
I wanted to leave you one light to let you know, its true self.
Okay. Well, so far so good. They're new cast heads, so they're not reman, and they seem to be doing the job. Yep. How about that?
They're doing cylinder head things, and we mostly have sealed head gaskets, which was kind of our big issue.
I suppose we'll find out very quickly if the milkshake brings all the boys to the yard again, or whistling teapot things, but so far it was idling the garage just fine. And we let it cool off once, and you topped it off again, and we've loaded up full of garbage to take the dumpster, so putting a lot of faith in it, already putting it to work. But I don't think I screwed this up for you.
No, I think we did good.
How about that? It's a happy Dakota. Most of these end up in the junkyard or scrapped because they're just not nice enough to save, but April cleaned this thing up, made it so nice that it had to be brought back, and you were the perfect dude to do it. So thank you so much. I actually helped, and I was productive.
Absolutely.
This is weird. It's a whole new era for Hoovie's Garage. It's giving me bold confidence to probably really screw something up the next thing that I work on, most likely. But Potter, thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I am thrilled. And thank you so much for watching. She's going down the road great.